The wedding is over, the cheers have faded, and the grand hall is quiet. But just when you think the story has ended, a secret lingers in the shadows, waiting to be uncovered. What really happened after Benedict and Sophie said I do? This is the post-credits scene you didn't know you needed. Asterisk the camera drifts slowly across the now empty wedding hall. Chairs are slightly askew, and soft petals carpet the polished floor. A gentle breeze flows through the open windows, causing delicate curtains to flutter as sunlight spills in, casting long golden shadows across the room. The chandeliers above shimmer faintly, their crystals catching the light in tiny sparks, as if the hall itself is holding onto the last traces of the celebration. There's a quiet that feels almost alive, the kind that hums with both joy and anticipation. You can almost hear the soft echo of laughter and music that had filled the space just moments ago. Outside, the garden glows in the late afternoon light. Roses sway gently, their petals catching the sun in a way that makes them look like tiny flames. The camera pans across empty tables where guests had shared toasts and laughter, leaving behind only scattered napkins, forgotten handkerchiefs, and delicate glassware reflecting the fading sunlight. A few birds circle lazily overhead, and the distant sound of a fountain adds a soft rhythm. Like a heartbeat of the estate itself, silhouettes of the main characters emerge. Benedict and Sophie walk slowly through a secluded part of the garden, their hands brushing together, fingers intertwined, a gesture of unity and promise. Their faces are hidden, but their movements speak volumes. Sophie's dress sweeps the grass as they pass, catching the light in subtle ripples. Benedict carries a small bouquet that he has plucked from the garden, and he gently offers it to Sophie, a silent gesture of love after the public ceremony. The camera focuses on these small moments, the way Sophie's hand rests lightly on his arm, the gentle tilt of his head toward her, the quiet laughter that only they can hear. The air is filled with soft classical music, barely audible, almost as if the estate itself is humming a lullaby to mark the end of the day. Yet, even in this calm, there's a tension, a whisper of something unseen. A shadow flickers in the corner of the garden, a figure watching them from afar. The breeze carries the faint rustle of fabric, and for just a moment, the light glints off something in their hand, a folded piece of paper, perhaps, or a small, intricate locket. It's subtle, almost easy to miss, but it hints that not everything is as peaceful as it seems. The scene holds on Benedict and Sophie as they reach a quiet stone bench under a large oak tree. They sit, their silhouettes framed by the fading sunlight. The camera lingers on details, the way Benedict nervously fidgets with a ring, the small, tender smile Sophie offers, the petals brushing against their feet. This moment is intimate, faceless, yet full of emotion, capturing the essence of their bond without ever showing their faces. It's a pause, a breath, a transition between the joy of the wedding and the secrets waiting just beyond sight, even as the calm surrounds them. The camera slowly zooms out, revealing the garden's edges where the shadowy figure retreats into the darkness. A faint rustle of leaves hints at movement, creating a subtle tension. This lingering presence sets the stage for what comes next, promising that the post-credits scene will uncover something more than just romance. It teases mystery, a hidden story waiting for the next season. The music swells slightly, then fades, leaving a silence that is almost palpable. A silence that begs the audience to lean in and watch closely. Asterisk the camera shifts from the soft glow of the bench to the edges of the garden, where shadows stretch and twist under the fading sunlight. Everything looks peaceful at first, but there's a subtle tension. Leaves whisper in the breeze, and the distant fountain gurgles with an almost deliberate rhythm, like the ticking of a secret clock. Suddenly, movement in the corner of the frame catches the eye. Of figure, tall and still, partially hidden behind the thick foliage. The camera doesn't reveal the face, only the outline of someone watching, silent but intent. The figure's presence feels deliberate, as though they have been waiting for this exact moment. The scene cuts back to Benedict and Sophie, still seated, seemingly unaware of the eyes upon them. Benedict adjusts the lapel of his jacket, brushing his hand against something hidden in his coat pocket, a folded note, an unfamiliar seal. Sophie reaches out to him, her fingers tracing the edge of the paper, and for a moment, time seems to slow. The camera lingers on their hands, the subtle tension building between them, while the shadowy figure shifts slightly, just enough to be noticed by the audience. There's a whisper of intrigue here, a silent question. Who is watching and why? The music changes subtly, a low, suspenseful chord weaving through the soft classical melody. The camera pans to details around the garden, the tip of a dropped handkerchief fluttering near the fountain, a candle on a nearby ledge flickering in the breeze. Each small movement becomes a clue, a breadcrumb hinting that the post-credits moment is not just a quiet reflection of the wedding, it is the beginning of a mystery. The figure moves again, more deliberately this time, glancing toward the bench before retreating into the shadows. The audience sees only fleeting glimpses, a glint of jewelry, the curve of a hand, but never a face. Close-ups reveal Benedict finally unfolding the note. The camera captures his hands trembling slightly, the seal broken, the parchment worn. There's no dialogue yet, only the sound of rustling paper and the soft wind. The text on the note is out of focus, teasing the audience without giving away its contents. Sophie leans in, her fingers brushing the edge of the letter, her posture hinting at curiosity and unease. The faceless storytelling here emphasizes emotion through gestures, lighting, and props rather than faces. The camera cuts to the shadowy figure one last time. They pause near the garden gate, half hidden behind the twisted branches of an ivy-covered wall. A slow zoom reveals a small detail, a ring catching the last glimmer of sunset, a locket swinging faintly from their neck. This tiny flash of light is all that reveals their presence and all that hints at the secret they carry. The tension builds, lingering over the garden like the last breath of a storm, as if the next chapter is waiting just beyond the frame. The music swells slightly, then drops to a whisper, leaving the audience with a sense of anticipation and unease. By the end of this section, the audience knows something unexpected is coming. The wedding's calm is shattered not by argument or conflict, but by a mystery silently creeping in. It's a post-credits moment designed to tease, to leave hearts racing and minds wondering. Who is the observer? What is the note? And how will it change Benedict and Sophie's life? The garden has grown quieter now, bathed in the soft amber of the setting sun. Shadows stretch long across the stone paths, twisting among the rose bushes and delicate fountains. The camera moves slowly, almost as if it is holding its breath, weaving between petals and lanterns, before returning to Benedict and Sophie. Benedict's hands are still on the note, fingers brushing its edges with a mixture of curiosity and unease. Sophie leans closer, tilting her head slightly, but her face remains hidden in silhouette. The focus is on gestures, the subtle tension in their hands, the gentle rise and fall of their posture, and the shared intimacy of this private moment. Suddenly, the note flutters in the breeze, revealing a glimpse of handwriting, elegant, deliberate, but intentionally unreadable to the audience. Benedict's thumb hesitates over a particular word, and a faint rustle echoes from behind the rose bushes. The camera cuts to the shadowy figure, now standing a little closer, watching intently. They clutch something small, a locket or a folded envelope against their chest, an object that seems innocuous but holds weighty importance. Every frame teases the presence of secrets without showing faces, making the audience strain to catch every subtle detail. A symbolic gesture punctuates the scene. Benedict slowly places the note inside the locket Sophie wears around her wrist, her delicate fingers brushing the metal as he closes it. The motion is slow, deliberate, and intimate, conveying trust and secrecy simultaneously. Sophie's hand lingers, fingers lightly tracing the locket's contours, signaling her connection to both the gesture and the unfolding mystery. The camera lingers on the locket, catching sunlight on its surface, making it gleam like a tiny beacon, symbolizing that something hidden is about to emerge. Meanwhile, the shadowy figure takes a single, deliberate step forward, almost revealing their identity, only to retreat behind the twisting ivy once again. The camera captures this movement from a distance, using the interplay of light and shadow to create a sense of tension. Leaves rustle as they pass, and the soft sound of footsteps is almost hypnotic, echoing in the otherwise serene garden. The audience senses urgency and secrecy, but the figure remains enigmatic, adding layers of intrigue. the orchestral music swells subtly, intertwining with the soft rustle of the wind and distant fountain, creating a haunting, almost hypnotic atmosphere. The focus remains on subtle details, the way Sophie's hand pauses over the locket, Benedict's fingers tracing the edges of the note, and the shadowy figure lurking just out of reach. These moments communicate volumes without words, emphasizing emotion, suspense, and the importance of the secret now shared between them. The golden light of the setting sun fades into a soft twilight, casting long, dramatic shadows across the garden. The camera glides past the fountain, over the rose petals, and toward Benedict and Sophie, who remain seated on the stone bench. Their hands rest gently on the locket, now a silent symbol of mystery and trust, but their postures have changed. There is a subtle shift in unspoken awareness that something unseen has entered their perfect moment. Every movement feels deliberate, measured, and heavy with unspoken questions. From the edge of the garden, the shadowy figure reemerges. This time, the camera allows the audience a closer glimpse. The figure pauses behind a veil of ivy, the dim light catching just enough to reveal a small, glimmering object held tightly in their hand, a key, a letter, or perhaps a hidden photograph. The figure's stance is deliberate, almost ritualistic, as if the moment they step forward will tip the balance of everything Benedict and Sophie know. The tension builds with each subtle movement, every rustle of leaves amplified in the hushed garden. Benedict finally notices a flicker of movement out at the corner of his eye. He straightens slightly, and the camera catches only the tilt of his head, the tenseness in his fingers. Sophie leans forward, adjusting the locket, her hand trembling just enough to hint at concern. The music swells with a slow, ominous chord intertwining with the distant sounds of the fountain and wind through the leaves. There is no dialogue, every expression, gesture, and shadow tells the story. The camera shifts for a final wide shot, Benedict and Sophie silhouetted against the deepening twilight, the garden glowing faintly around them. In the background, the shadowy figure retreats, disappearing into the darkness beyond the estate walls. The locket in Sophie's hand glimmers once more, catching the last rays of light, and the note tucked inside seems to pulse with the weight of its hidden secret. The visual storytelling emphasizes suspense and intrigue, leaving the audience's imagination to fill in the mystery. A faint whisper of music lingers as the screen slowly fades to black. Text appears, elegant and understated. Some secrets wait until the next season. Bridgerton Season 5 coming soon. The silence that follows is heavy, carrying with it the promise of drama, mystery, and romance yet to unfold. The post-credits scene ends not with answers, but with questions that pull the audience into anticipation, ensuring every viewer is left on edge, wondering who the shadowy figure is, what the note contains, and how it will affect Benedict and Sophie's life. This section combines elegance, suspense, and symbolic storytelling, perfect for a faceless Bridgerton post-credits video using objects, shadows, gestures, and atmosphere to communicate drama without ever showing a face. Twilight has deepened into a soft indigo, and the first stars glimmer faintly above the estate. The garden, once filled with laughter and petals, now feels like a world suspended in time. The camera slowly glides along the empty stone pathways, lingering on footprints that fade into the soft grass, subtle reminders of the joyous celebration that has passed. Lanterns flicker gently, their warm light creating pools of illumination that contrast with the deepening shadows. Each movement of light hints at hidden stories yet to unfold, teasing the audience with the feeling that the garden itself knows a secret. Benedict and Sophie remain near the bench, their bodies angled slightly toward each other. The locket in Sophie's hand swings lightly in the breeze, catching glimmers of the lantern light. Benedict's hand hovers near it, his fingers tracing the edges as if trying to sense the weight of the secret it holds. The camera focuses on small details, the gentle clasp of hands, the soft rustle of fabric, and the way Sophie's fingers brush the locket's chain. These subtle gestures communicate intimacy, trust, and the unspoken tension of anticipation, emotions conveyed entirely without showing faces. Suddenly, the faint sound of movement comes from the outer garden walls. A soft creak, a rustle of leaves enough to pull Benedict's attention. He stands slowly, extending a hand towards Sophie, who rises in tandem, her posture signaling both curiosity and caution. The camera shifts to the shadowy figure once more, now barely visible at the edge of the estate's iron gate. A glint of something metallic, a key, perhaps, or a locket catches the moonlight. They linger for a moment, almost statuesque, before disappearing completely into the night, leaving only silence and unanswered questions behind. The music rises, ethereal and haunting, weaving the calm of twilight with the suspense of what's to come. The camera pans upward, past the estate walls, past the flickering lanterns, toward the starry sky. A single shooting star streaks across the horizon, a subtle symbol of fleeting moments, wishes, and the inevitability of change. Benedict and Sophie remain in the foreground, faceless yet full of emotion, framed by shadows and soft light. Their hands brush together once more, a small gesture of unity and courage in the face of an unknown future. Finally, the scene fades to black. The text appears in elegant, Bridgerton-style font. Not all secrets are meant to stay hidden. Season 5 awaits. The silence that follows feels deliberate, leaving the audience suspended between wonder and anticipation. Every prop, shadow, and gesture hints at deeper drama, ensuring that the post-credits scene is more than just an epilogue. It is a promise of mystery, romance, and intrigue waiting to unfold. It's the perfect final beat, understated yet unforgettable, leaving viewers eager for the next season while appreciating the elegance and subtle storytelling of this faceless scene. Night has fully settled over the estate. The garden is bathed in silvery moonlight, soft and ghostly, with shadows stretching long across the pathways and rose bushes. The camera moves slowly, weaving between lanterns and fountains, catching dew on petals that glint like tiny diamonds. There is a quiet stillness, but it is charged with tension, as if the air itself is holding its breath, waiting for the next secret to be revealed. Every detail in the garden now feels significant: a slightly ajar gate, a fallen ribbon on the stone path, the faint flicker of candlelight from a distant window. Benedict and Sophie remain in the frame, standing near the stone bench. Their bodies are faceless to the camera, shown only in shadowed silhouettes, yet every gesture speaks volumes. Benedict tilts the locket slightly, letting the moonlight reveal a subtle engraving, and Sophie's fingers brush it again, this time with a hint of curiosity mixed with concern. The camera lingers on the locket as it swings gently, catching glimmers of silver and gold. This small object, so elegantly simple, becomes the visual centerpiece, a symbol of the secret now in their hands and the mystery still lurking beyond their awareness. Suddenly, movement in the far corner of the garden catches the eye, a soft rustle, barely audible, as the shadowy figure reappears at the edge of the estate wall. Their form is almost ethereal under the moonlight, indistinct yet unmistakably present. A glint flashes, a ring, a key, or another hidden token. The figure pauses just long enough for the audience to sense importance, then vanishes silently into the darkness, leaving no trace but a sense of unease. The camera holds on Benedict and Sophie, subtly shifting to show their awareness that something is amiss, even though they cannot see the figure. Their hands meet over the locket one last time. A quiet but powerful gesture of unity in the unknown. The music swells subtly, intertwining a delicate piano motif with faint strings, echoing both romance and suspense. The camera slowly pulls upward, giving a wide view of the estate. The moonlight glinting off rooftops, the darkened garden, and the empty paths where shadows linger. A single candle flickers in the distance, like a heartbeat in the night, symbolizing the life of the story yet to unfold. It's quiet, but heavy with promise of visual whisper that the secrets introduced in this scene will have consequences beyond this moment. Finally, the screen fades to black, leaving only the faint shimmer of the locket in the mind's eye. Text appears in elegant, Bridgerton-style font. Every secret casts a shadow. Season 5 will reveal all. The scene ends on this lingering note, mysterious, suspenseful, and beautiful. No faces are shown, yet the audience feels the depth of emotion, the tension of the unknown, and the promise of drama ahead. It's the perfect final beat for a faceless post-credits scene, an elegant combination of suspense, romance, and intrigue that leaves viewers desperate for the next season. Asterisk, the estate is now cloaked in deep night. The sky a rich canvas of stars twinkling faintly above. The garden is hushed save for the soft ripple of the fountain and the occasional rustle of leaves in the wind. The camera glides slowly over the scene, past empty benches, lanterns casting pools of golden light, and petals that shimmer like tiny diamonds under the moon. Everything feels still, but the silence is tense as if the estate itself is holding its breath. Aware that the story is far from over, Benedict and Sophie stand near the edge of the garden, their silhouettes framed by the moonlight. The locket in Sophie's hand glimmers faintly, its secret still hidden inside. Benedict tilts slightly, brushing the chain against his fingers, a small, deliberate gesture that communicates awareness, concern, and intimacy. Their faceless forms allow the audience to project emotion onto them, the trust, the uncertainty, and the unspoken questions about what comes next.